Looks happy now. So rotation, again, a little bit of review. How do you see rotational symmetry? Is if you find a point and you can turn your object to match up with what it is before turning it all the way around, then it's going to have rotational symmetry. And reflection is if you can find a line where if you flip it over, it matches up perfectly on the other side. Then you would have reflection symmetry. Everybody good? No, I do not. Don't scratch it. Don't scratch it. You didn't get the reflection one done? Okay, let me know when you're ready. Write it down. You already got that. You're good. Good, good. All good? All right. So, now, when we perform transformations on a shape, so sometimes you take a shape, sometimes you flip it, sometimes you slide it around. The new shape that you could have might have no symmetry whatsoever. It might have line symmetry. It might have rotational symmetry. And it might have rotational symmetry and line symmetry. So here's our first one. This shaded object was moved 3 to the left and 3 down. And now we have two shapes here, this one and this one. And when we put them together, does it have any symmetry? What kind of symmetry do you see? A line symmetry. Where would the line be? Like this way? Diagonal, like this? Like this? So we could say that this one has one. Is there any more line symmetries? No, I don't think there's any more. Anywhere else you put it. Okay. What about rotation? Is there a way that you could rotate and it matches up? If I rotate it 180 degrees, so again, if I take this and try to rotate it, can you see that it points the wrong way? So this one has no rotational symmetry. Okay, so here, looks like the gray shape was moved over to the left. Cut it in half this way. And then this way, can you see that you'd have to go right there? Has to be the same space away if you're cutting it that way. So that there's 1, 2, 3 squares in between. You'd have to go exactly 1.5 squares to cut it in perfectly in half. Yes, so we have, let's write it down. Two lines of symmetry on this one. And does it have rotational symmetry? Yes. What's the order? Order of 2. And what's the angle? Do you remember how to find the angle of rotation if you know the order? You take 360 degrees and divide it by 2, and you would get 180 degrees. So this one, if I highlight them both in blue, and I rotate it, bing, it matches up right there, and then back when it started from. So it matches up once and then back to started. That means that there's going to be 2 that match up. So we say our order is 2 and the angle is 180. I don't have a Band-Aid right now. I think that one, though, looks like it's okay. Just don't scratch it. Any line symmetry in this one? You want to go diagonal? Which way? This way? This way? So if I... So if I took this one, right, and oops. It doesn't work, does it, right? Because this is like 1.5 away. So 1.5 away would be there.
Yeah,
No, it wouldn't work, right? And can you see when you reflect this over, hey, and a way to cheat for reflections, especially with its diagonal, I take my paper, I find flipping diagonal is hard, I turn my paper until it's horizontal. And then you can flip it, and when you flip this one over, like this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.5, it's going to reflect and look like that on the other side when you flip it.
wait, so what's the way to cheat with it?
I take my paper and just turn my paper until it's flat, because it's easier to flip something over horizontally than it is diagonally. So we have to erase this, and we have to say that this one has no line symmetry. Now, if I trace these two,
Yeah, they have yeah, 182, right?
it's, oh, yeah, I'm trying to, here we go, get them together. There we go. Oh, come on, there we go. Ding. So this one has rotational symmetry. Of order 2, and the angle of rotation then is 180 degrees. What's happening on this next one is we have the original shape, and then the other one was turned and flipped right on top of it. Do we have any lines of symmetry?
Yes.
Where would you see one?
Cut it this way, horizontally,
This way,
and then the other way.
and then this way.
Couldn't you do diagonal?
Does the diagonal work right here?
I think it does.
Yes, and this way too.
Yeah. So 6 lines? Wait, no.
4 of them.
Yeah.
That's where, here, wasn't it nice when I switch colors to see them?
Yeah,
Because then if I go like this and I go, okay, the next one I do an orange, and then blue,
because then you just count the colors.
and you count the colors. And then shiny green. That's the official name of that color, shiny green. Shiny green. For lines of symmetry, what about if I trace the whole thing?
It'd be 4, right?
Angle of rotation, rotation symmetry of order. You're right. Order 4. Why is it 4? Because if I take the shape, bing, 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 bing. So what is the angle? Yes. 90 degrees. You guys are amazing. Okay. Now, this one has, next question has a bit of review of plotting points. And this sometimes I find coming from middle school, you forget a little bit. What do you do first, right? That's the question. Where do I put -1, 1? Do I move along the x for the -1 or along the y for the -1? All right? It's always x, y. You can think about it alphabetically. X comes before y in the alphabet. But if you have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and get all the way to X, then maybe that's not a good strategy. Okay? So if I have point A, which is a -1, 1, I go -1 on my X, +1 on my Y. This will be point A. Oh, sorry. Yours is, yeah, sorry, I didn't see the numbers here. It's over there, right? Yeah, because you're going by 2's on the bottom. Yeah. So then if you wanted to go 3, 1, we would go 3 to the x, which would be here, right? And 1 to the y would be there. That would be point B. 3, 0. There would be point C. And -1, 0, there would be point D. And if we have those and connect them, do you see that that makes a rectangle? A, B, C, D. Now, do you know what this word means? The origin. The 0, 0 point. So that is right here is the origin. I'm going to draw crosshairs right there. Now at this point, couple notes. Yeah. I know. That 180 degrees, if they give you a positive rotation, they mean counterclockwise. It will. Well, with 180 it won't. But you're right. Because we're going to turn it 90, 180. So what we're imagining is if you took this line here, 180 would go in that direction like that. I would trace it, I'd hold my pen here, and I would turn it. The new resulting picture will look like this.
Why is it counterclockwise?
It's counterclockwise because if you think of your protractor,
Wait, I'm confused.
protractor starts at 0 here and goes to 180 there. When you get to higher level math, they call this quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. And this is 90 degrees. And 0 starts here. So it's all based on that moving forward. When you do trigonometry in grade 10 and grade 11, angles will always be going counterclockwise, starting here at 0. So if we draw this out,
Oh, yeah.
right to the end, okay? And we need to label where things are. This, okay? If you take it all the way around, can you see that this B prime would be on the bottom, C prime would be there. This would be A prime, and this would be D prime. Okay?
We're really understanding this.
Well, and so Nevaeh, what you would do, I would take a piece of paper, and I'll give you, like I have lights, tracing paper that you'd put on top. You would put a pen or a pencil to hold it right where you're turning it, and then actually rotate it 180 degrees to see the shape. Okay? If you've done it lots like me, you can do it in your head, but that's not super easy, right? Question? Yeah. So here's the next one. Again, we're going to draw the same rectangle out again. A, B. Just want to label them all correctly. Oh, it's the same rectangle. I just labeled the points wrong. A, B, C, D. I think that's how it's labeled. Yes. And now if you reflect in the x-axis, that's the x-axis. You're going to flip it, have line symmetry. Can you see that your new one would be down here?
Yeah, that one I do get.
That one's easier, right? And then we would label this, the bottom point here would be A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. And here's the last one. Again, let's draw
Remember when you got the
A, B, C, D. Now we want to take it and do a translation. A translation is a slide. We're going to go 4 units to the right and 1 unit down. Can you imagine taking that, sliding it 4 units to the right? So point A would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 down. Can you see that point A would go there? And B would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 down. It would be off the charts a little bit. And this would be D, and this would be C, and here is your new shape. The point of this is there is a lot of mathematics in symmetry, and we're actually going to see where it is applied right now. I think this is our last example. Okay? And yeah, I can go back. This would be, and this would be D prime, and this would be C. Yeah, yeah, it's that one right there. Yeah. Whoops. And
Bro, that movie was so good. Nah, it's old now. Ooh, surface area.
yeah, I do. 1, 2. Oops. Wow. There you go.
Perfect, thank you.
Uh-oh. There, oh. There we go. So one of the places you see symmetry is in logos of different companies. So, I'm going to give you a logo. Can you tell me what car company that is? Volkswagen. Is there any symmetry? It is Volkswagen. And it has line symmetry right there. Does it have any more line symmetry? Does it have rotation? No. Ready for the next one? BMW. Yeah, you see if we can guess the car. And then the lines, you have one there. Oh, look at the rotation. Rotation would be 2 so that the colors match up, right? And line symmetry, 1 there and 1 there. So a lot of car logos like the circle because they get lots of symmetry that way. People like the look of it better. So this is the mathematics. People like the look of symmetry. Then they're like, oh, I like that logo. I think I want to buy that. So what is it? What car? What car? Mercedes. Those guys did. Any line symmetry? Any rotation symmetry? What's the order? 3. Usually, that helps to figure it out. So you're right, this one has an order of 3. The angle would be 120 degrees. Line symmetry, 1,
Oh, wait, yeah.
2, 3. Because you would do 360 divided by 3.
Yeah, the shadows don't match up.
Ooh. This is the old Acura. Maybe that's why they changed it, because they use exactly what you said. It looks really ugly.
That doesn't have any symmetry.
It has a reflection. Mhm. What is it? There it is. Pontiac.
I knew that because when I was in high school, it was like every other person had either a Chevy Cavalier
Yeah.
or Pontiac Sunfire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Sunfire was very, very popular.
Yeah.
You see the line of symmetry? Do you see that it has no rotation? Red Bull.
Who said Ram? Okay, but what is it then?
Yeah, that's not Ram. What's the brand? Dodge. One line of symmetry right there. That's got pretty good.
I've like probably had 60.
There he's got it. Toyota. Any symmetry? Just
Yeah, one down the middle.
one down the middle. It is infinity. Good job.
Who got that one? Okay. I wouldn't have expected anybody to get that one.
That's what I drive. My car is an infinity.
But it's just not.
My dad drives, Jeep. It's the new one.
Now, what's fascinating about the Cadillac logo is that there's nothing, but it sure it looks like symmetry here, but the middle is mixed up, and the middle is rotation, but you don't rotate the rest. So if you take out the middle, it has symmetry. If you just look at the middle, it has rotation, which, again, they're playing around with both kind of symmetries to make you like the logo, but it doesn't quite fit perfectly. Now, I wonder why they chose the colors they chose.
But it does work. I'm going to go with countries.
Maybe. On that last one? No, because the rest of it wouldn't fit. Anybody know this one? Is it-
What is that one?
There it is.
That's the first one I don't know. Oh, I wouldn't have known that. That's the first one I didn't know.
And it only has, I think that's a Korean make.
That was uncalled for. That was.
No symmetry on that one, though.
cars now that are popular. Or are there?
I don't know if there is any. Like,
Because it was like everyone had it, but like Cavalier Sunfire,
yeah,
it was like everybody had it.
yeah.
Who could afford it?
It's not a Jeep. Two lines and also rotation.
Oh wait, is that a? What does it start with?
You know this.
What does it start with?
Starts with an M. Mazda.
Is there a new one? Is that what it is still?
Or is this the new one? What's the old one?
Maybe I know the old one. Because that doesn't look familiar.
We'll look it up. Here.
Oh, it's been that way since '98, so.
Yeah. The 1991 one.
No, it should be summer break already.
I think I knew. Yeah. Oh, that's what I have.
All right. And what do we got? It's not a Jeep.
That one definitely starts with a C. Does anyone know? That's going to be the
Yeah, if you use the shading, then you would say, oh, but if you rotate it, there you can rotate it. And the shading would match even if you rotate it, but it has no reflection because of the pointy things. Unfortunately, the logo for Jeep is just Jeep. Does this one rotate? Yes, it does. But it has no line symmetry.
starts with a C.
Starts with a C.
And it rhymes with
Chrysler.
Chrysler.
This one has lots of symmetry.
And it rhymes with Philippo. What was it again? Philippo. Philippo.
5 rotation, and look at all the symmetries.
Ooh, someone got that quick. It's a sushi.
No, you just made a racist.
Ooh.
I knew it.
It's funny, you guys recognize the logo, but you probably have never seen one in your entire life.
I don't even know if I have.
Yeah, when you cost that much, you don't need symmetry. But it has a translation. So you see how they took the R and then just translated it down? That's all the cars that I have. Now, we have a mini project. In your mini project, let me just get my red binders right under here. Sorry, Jackson, I have stuff here for you. And it has lots of projects. We have a mini project and a major project. So, here are examples of what you will be doing in your mini project.
You have to draw. We have to make our own. You can make your own logo, or
Make your own logo. You're going to make a superhero logo. Okay. It has to have line symmetry and rotation symmetry. So what you're going to do is you are going to draw your logo, color it in, make it pretty. Then, on your paper, you have to state what kind of line symmetry it has. So this one says this has two lines of symmetry, this way and this way. It would be nice, and this is better because the person drew their lines of symmetry on there.
Could you also just say vertical lines,
Yeah.
horizontal lines?
And for your rotation, you need to state the order and the angle. So this one rotated down to here and rotated again. This one had an order of 2 and a rotation of 180. So you can either start with a circle or any kind of shape is nice. Like if you think about the Chrysler logo, it had 5 points. You can do it on graph paper or you can do it on white paper. I have white paper for you guys.